today against Syracuse. Dome crowd is on their feet. They're ready to rock and roll in the JMA Wireless Dome. It'll be Gales and Izoje at the jump, and Syracuse controls with Dominique Darius. She had a really impressive performance Friday night against UAlbany, and right away she attacks the cup, and layup doesn't quite fall. That's exactly what we saw from her Friday night against UAlbany. Darius had 13 points. Here's the lineup for Canisius. It's unchanged from the first two games, and as we mentioned at the top, it's gonna roll through Gales as the Golden Griffins turn it over there. Mary Koppel with the turnover, and turnovers, Max, unfortunately have been the story of the season for the Golden Griffins. Against Michigan, they turned the ball over 45 times, as you now see the Syracuse lineup, and Izoje will head to the line for 2 free throws. It's an unchanged team for Felicia Leggett-Jack as well, the same lineup that she's rolled out in the opening 2 games. But Max, back to those turnovers, that's something that Canisius has to get right.
And you were spot on when you mentioned just how much those turnovers have played Canisius this season. They've had almost 40 turnovers per game, only through 2 games this season. That has to get cleaned up if they want a chance against a very dominant defensive team like Syracuse so far.
Izoje comes up short on the first free throw. She spent 3 seasons in Japan, and Felicia Leggett-Jack is really excited to have her in the presence she brings. Goes 0 of 2 from the charity stripe. And Wittenberg leads the charge for the Golden Griffins the other way. Sophie Burrows tied to Wittenberg. Fed inside to Jabril, back to Wittenberg. And there is the first bucket for the Golden Griffins in their last game against Eastern Michigan. They didn't score their first field goal until the midway point of the second quarter. Foul there as Dominique Darius hits the wood.
Yeah, Wittenberg is one of those players that Coach Swafford mentioned that was really a tone setter for the Golden Griffins. You're seeing it not just on the offensive end, but good defense as well in the paint.
Syracuse back at the free throw line. Izoje just missed 2 consecutive free throws, and now Darius will try her luck, and she nails the first one. Dominique Darius, another one of those new faces for Syracuse in the starting lineup. She spent the majority of her collegiate career out in California with USC and UCLA, so I'm sure the snow today was maybe a little bit of a rude awakening for her. Darius not the only fresh face for the Orange. We'll see plenty of them today. Turnover there for Canisius. Izoje leads the charge the other way. To Sophie Burrows, back to Darius momentarily. Here's Laila Phelia, another fresh face. And that jumper has been really smooth for her since she's suited up in orange. She's been really impressive at the point guard spot.
Right, she's really been the tone setter for Syracuse on offense. Leads the squad in minutes so far this season, and you're seeing why, because she drives and can make shots like that.
Izoje commits a foul on Yasmin Jabril. It's the first substitution for Canisius, and Irene Ray Pineda comes in. She had a really impressive game against Eastern Michigan, knocked down 2 3-pointers. Coach Swafford is hoping that can continue from beyond the arc today. Another turnover for the Golden Griffs. It's Darius going the other way, all the way to the cup, and lays it in. Already 3 turnovers for the Golden Griffins. That has been the problem all season long for them thus far. Whistle here. Felicia Leggett-Jack loves defense. That's really all she ever wants to talk about, and she's going to love that effort from Dominique Darius.
Yeah, it's just what Dominique Darius has been doing so well over these last couple of games, which is really getting in these other players' kitchens and then charging down the court, driving into the lane, and just taking the easy buckets when you can get them. If Syracuse can do that, the scoreboard's going to look lopsided today, that's for sure.
Coach Jack certainly loves to talk about defense, Max. I think if you could have one conversation with her, it would just want to be about defense. She's not going to like that. A turnover, though, and now Canisius can roll the other way. Anthony Tucker had that momentarily, and Canisius now hands it right back to the Orange. Phelia nearly lost it. Keeps her dribble and one. Great work by Laila Phelia. She nearly lost it, was able to retain her dribble, and she'll go to the free throw line to add one more.
And how about the Orange working so well in transition right now? Even though Phelia lost a little bit, lost the ball for just a little bit, got the second handle on the ball and laid it in even through the contact.
Antonique Austin just checked in for Canisius. That is who the Golden Griffins will want to get involved in the paint to try and generate some offense. Swung out wide to Koppel. In the paint, there is Gales. Not get the layup to go. Sophie Burrows with the rebound.
Syracuse not giving much room to Canisius right now.
Phelia again. That's her spot so far. Phelia putting in the points early.
And the Golden Griffins at this point trying to figure out what their spot is. Haven't gotten a firm grasp on the basketball at all today.
Coach Swafford wants it to be in the paint. Shot from Pineda is off. And Phelia this time will have a simple layup, and that means it is a timeout for Canisius. A great start for the Orange. Syracuse out to an impressive start, 13-2. We'll be back after this. So she's already off to a great start, and she started her career at Michigan, and then she went to Texas, but last season she had to redshirt this year because of an eye injury, a detached retina. That is why she's sporting the glasses. There's an immediate whistle from the Canisius inbalance, and I think the clock started early. It should be 6:35 on the clock as Chuck Gonzalez, our head official, is just working that out. There it is, 6:35. Pineda will inbound it once more for Canisius. It's been all Orange so far in this first quarter. 6 turnovers for the Golden Griffins. It's been an issue for them all season. It's continued to hamper them early. Gales still looking to get going as Burrows commits the foul on Pineda.
And Gales really hasn't had any looks, like you mentioned. Still really trying to get going. She's been blocked twice already down below. Syracuse is doing a good job collapsing on any of Canisius' offensive threats so far.
Austin inbounds it, and it trickles away, and Syracuse has numbers moving forward. Inside, it's an easy layup for Izoje. Mariah Clay at point guard now for the Golden Griffins. Pineda had success from 3 in the last game against Eastern Michigan. Austin works through 2 defenders. There's Gales in the paint, and that's a layup that she'll be happy to see fall through. That's the bread and butter for Canisius, getting the ball inside in the paint. That is how Coach Swafford wants to generate offense. Good pass from Izoje right to Burrows, and it's easy buckets for Syracuse.
And you saw Gales running back down the court after a bucket saying, make sure your head is on the ball, and as a result, Burrows beat the defense behind him.
Great bounce pass from Gales to Vonda.
Line up, 2 shots, line up.
Be 2 shots. More substitutions for Syracuse. Vandervalda's first one doesn't go through. She joined Canisius after 2 years with Florida Atlantic, where she appeared in 36 games from Netherlands. free throw will be the last action for her for the moment. As Laila Phelia comes in.
Yeah, with Canisius, to a lot of these hockey-style lineup changes, you'll consistently see Coach Swafford bring in 3, 4, 5 players at once.
Phelia again from the free throw line, and that is just automatic. She's up to 11 points in this first quarter. Swarming defense from Darius, and Thompson gets the deflection out of balance. It's the kind of stuff head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack loves. Something that she felt her team last year did not do enough of. She's been really impressed early on how impressive this team has looked defensively.
We had a chance to supervise practice today, and I don't know how many times she said defense wins championships.
Burrows playing point guard, looking for the quick outlet. What a catch by Phelia, but she stepped out of balance. That would have been a nice play from the Orange. Good read by Sophie Burrows, who has really shown off her passing. The scoring may not be there for Burrows, but the passing certainly is.
You just saw it on full display right there with the baseball pass. Would have been an incredible play, especially if Phelia ended up staying in bounds and throwing it. Still inbounds to Syracuse, but she takes a seat on the bench, a much needed rest for Phelia, who's been off to a very hot start in this one.
Good ball movement from Canisius and a travel from Pineda. As Shy Hawkins, the action there. And for this Canisius team, like every other team in college athletics, there's plenty of new on the roster for Coach Swafford, and that's something that this team is still adjusting to. She said at practice she put all the returners on one side, all the newcomers on the other side, and said, we can't win with 2 separate groups. It needs to be one. She's still trying to get everyone acclimated to this team. As Thomas has a wide open jumper, and it goes in, and Canisius needs to talk about it. Well, thought there was a timeout call, but it's just for what looks to be possibly an injury. Kelsey Bess, who went down a little awkwardly, she walks off on her own power to the sideline.
We just got to look at it. Hard to tell if she landed awkwardly on that leg, but currently being attended to the trainer at the end of the bench.
Please spotted up. All swung all the way to the other side. 3-point try from Wittenberg doesn't go. And Angelica Valles just checking into the game at the point guard role now for Syracuse. Valles working her way into the paint, gets fouled, and will head to the free throw line.
It's been impressive how Velez has continued to get more physical and physical as she's developed here with Syracuse, coming over from LSU, and she's really prided herself on that physicality. And even if maybe she doesn't get the points to go every time, she loves the fact that even though she had the lane here, she works at her best when she can facilitate and give it to some of the other players around her.
Got some great shoes as well.
Yeah.
Coach Jack was really impressed with her performance against UAlbany, so much so that she got the hard hat after the game, something that the team gives out to a player that had a really strong performance. She had 10 points, 2 assists, but I'm sure what Coach Jack loved the most, 3 steals.
Right. All about the defense for Coach Jack, and chances are if you are one of the best defensive players, you have a good chance of winning that hard hat.
Gales tries her luck from 3 and gets it to go. The player, Syracuse, doesn't want to get hot. She can get streaky with her scoring. Shy Hawkins, the sophomore, drives in with a nifty spin. Can't get it to go. 2 Syracuse players there. Akimba Walla, first touches of the game, working her way into the paint. Plenty of whistles, plenty of contact. But Akimba Walla traveled. It'll be a turnover for Syracuse.
And Gales was hyped up after that one. How impressive was it to not only hit that 3, but then to speed down the court and get back on defense and really almost be a wall in that paint for Syracuse.
Wittenberg glued to Velez. That's something that she's had to deal with this year, being defended by one of the players' best defenders. And that's great defense from Journey Thompson. Syracuse can hustle the other way. Spot up jumper for the Orange, goes through. It's Jasmine Cooper, another freshman. Player Syracuse and Coach Jack is really excited about.
And Cooper just had 5 points in that game against UAlbany, but her, just like a couple other freshmen, really making an early impact with the Orange.
Down low to Gales. And that pass to Van der Wouden could not be controlled. And it'll be inbounds underneath the basket for Syracuse. Kira Scott checks into the game. Coach Jack told us that she still is not sure on what lineups, rotations she wants. It's still too early in the season to really put a nail down on what she likes for certain rotations.
And she even told us it's hard to assess how any of her position groups have played so far this season. She said it would almost be kind of offensive to them if she assessed them at this point, only 2 games in.
Another smooth jumper from Journey Thompson. Syracuse getting a lot of points from inside the arc. Gale says, why don't I try from outside the arc? How about back-to-back three-pointers for the junior? The Orange have yet to attempt a three-point field goal. That hasn't been too successful from beyond the arc this year for the Orange. They've made just 3 three-point field goals in those 2 games. It's the lowest in over 20 years for SU, and I think the hope is that a player like a Sophie Burrows would get going and really help this team from beyond the arc.
But that being said, Syracuse has gotten a lot of their points in transition today. You haven't necessarily needed to step up and make the 3 balls. And Coach Jack has made it clear that the 3 balls will come. Those shots from beyond the arc will start to fall as long as her team plays as dominant of defense as they can.
Bit of a mix-up with the substitution. Kira Scott was ready to come in, but officials weren't. And she sits at the scorer's table. Cooper, who just scored. Good defense here from the Golden Griffins. Thompson had it from 3, opts to move inside. Doesn't fall. Thompson with the rebound. We said Coach Jack loves defense. She also loves rebounding, and she'll love that offensive board from Journey Thompson. Gales has hit 2 three-pointers. Wittenberg, everything is looking towards Gales. Great pass from her as Wittenberg is stopped immediately, though, and another travel for the Golden Griffins. And now Kira Scott will be able to come in.
And a credit to Justice Fitzgerald for Syracuse, posting up in the middle of the lane, kind of anticipating a potential pass inside to give Canisius a lane to the hoop. But said, no, I don't think so.
Under a minute in this first quarter. Hawkins had an impressive freshman year in, at times, limited action. Does a great job there getting the N1 bucket, and she'll head to the free throw line.
What a crafty move this was from Shy Hawkins. The quick handle, the Euro, and just throwing it up toward the hoop, expecting good things happen. Taking advantage once again of more Canisius mistakes.
And since head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack has taken over at this Syracuse program, she has not been scared to use young players. It doesn't matter what class you are. If you're good enough, you will play on this team. And Shy Hawkins is a perfect example of that. Got big minutes her freshman year, and that's why she's back in this rotation for her sophomore season.
Yeah, both Coach Jack and Coach Swafford relate in that same way, that there are no newcomers. You know, everyone is still a part of the team. Even though they might be new, they are still a full-fledged member of the team, and they can still earn those valuable minutes no matter how many years they've been with the squad.
Prominent freshman Cooper already has 2 points, make it 4. Wittenberg wasn't turned around and didn't see the pass from Gales, and Yet another turnover for the Golden Griffins. Smooth bucket here from Cooper. That's what they're excited about. Top 60 recruit in the country.
And I know you mentioned Syracuse maybe hasn't had as much success from beyond the arc as they would like, but they've been really good from mid-range today, and those spot-up jumpers, no matter who it's been from, they've just been smooth bucket after smooth bucket.
Here is Scott working around the defender. Couldn't get that smooth one to fall. Canisius does come up with the rebound. Wittenberg takes a peek at the clock. She's got to go. She's flying down the court and nearly got it off. A great effort from Franca Wittenberg. But that is the end of the first side. Max Gifford taking you through this one. Third game for both sides in the non-conference slate, as Canisius will get the second quarter rolling. For the Golden Griffins, turnovers continue to be a problem. Syracuse has 22 points off of Canisius turnovers.
And Canisius has more turnovers than they have points until now.
Wittenberg getting the jumper to fall. Velez controlling the point for Syracuse to start this second quarter. Velez, a great option off the bench to be your backup point guard if that's what Coach Jack wants to roll with, because she can do things like that, getting the easy two to fall.
How about now 8 different scorers for the Orange today? Have really spread the wealth very well in the early going.
And Yeda laces a 3. She hit 2 against Eastern Michigan, and Coach Swafford said she can get hot from beyond the arc. Phelia gets right inside. Laila Phelia, she's having a day so far. She's up to 13 points.
The only problem with that Pineda 3 was that she forgot to mark her assignment with Phelia, and she took full advantage right there.
Jabril hits the 3, and the 3 ball starting to work for the Golden Griffins. Offense has been a struggle, Max. They'll take any kind of production, whether it's inside or from beyond the arc.
And you never want to just chuck up 3s. I think Canisius is doing a really good job of making sure that they're taking those opportunities to shoot from beyond the arc when they get open looks, and Syracuse has given them plenty so far.
Velez tries from 3, and she nails it. So a bit of a 3-point contest to start this second quarter. Canisius has missed just 1 from beyond the arc.
And that's just the first for Syracuse that it's attempted all today. Again, hasn't really been much of a need, but when you get an open look like Velez just did, why not take advantage?
Ball trickled out of balance. It'll be Syracuse ball as substitutions are made. Adeline Potts comes into the game for the first time.
Number 17, Penny Potts.
Make a quick change as well.
We've been seeing these quick changes very consistently for Canisius. Players need to be fresh, especially with the amount of turnovers the Golden Griffins have had. It's made it hard to have to work in transition and had to use a lot of speed.
Darius hits a 3, and it is raining 3s at the Dome in the second quarter. Darius immediately on the defensive end. Can do it on both ends. Koppel, great defense by Potts, getting the deflection momentarily. Shot clock under 10 seconds for the Golden Griffins. With Koppel, drives inside, flicks it out. Best tries a 3, and it's all air. So the 3-point parade momentarily halted.
I don't know what got into both these teams at the quarter break, but you're right. Both of them decided that they were just going to keep shooting beyond the arc so far. And 3 minutes in, it seems like we've only seen 3 balls up to this point.
Darius going to work inside. And Syracuse is living right there, right when they get to the paint, pulling up for a quick jumper. A lot of players are liking that spot.
And those are some of the shots that they practice most consistent every single week. and you're seeing that practice pay off.
Another turnover for Canisius, and Darius has a clean drive right to the hoop. It's been a strong second quarter here for Darius, as Canisius is up to 16 turnovers. Wittenberg trying to get her offense rolling. Tough layup. Franca Wickenberg, out of Germany, the senior, can be one of the offensive threats on this team, along with Gales. Hasn't had too much success in the paint, but has gotten to work from beyond the arc, hitting 2 threes.
Even though Canisius hasn't gotten a ton of consistency this season and the results they haven't wanted, Coach Swafford has mentioned Wittenberg is a player that is a tone setter and is someone that can really settle down this team in times of hardship.
Phelia for the Orange. Izoje was crying for it. Phelia says, I can do it myself, but can't get that layup to go. Now Izoje has it, and she gets the easy deuce.
What else more could you ask for? You don't get it the first time, wait for the shot to come to you and take advantage of the rebound.
Timeout on the floor. Syracuse ahead of Canisius, 48-21. We'll be back after the quick.
And I think on the Syracuse side, you talked about the race between Darius and Phelia. Both these players really adding production, not only in the points column, but stealing the ball away as well, turning the ball over, also facilitating a little as well.
Wittenberg made a tough and one layup earlier in this one. Going to be the floor general here. Nearly poked away by Izoje, and Syracuse does come up with it. It's Darius leading the charge. Gives it all the way out to Izoje. She gets fouled, but it can't roll in, and looks like the contact was on Izoje, so it'll be going the other way with Canisius.
It's just a case of Izoje just being a little bit too physical down low. She is a bigger presence down in the paint, but just a little bit careless on that layup.
Jabril faces up Burrows, moves inside, and smooth operating from Jabril, and she'll head to the free throw line and try and tack on one more.
Talk about physicality in the paint just moments ago. How about Jabril boxing up Sophie Burrows? Almost had to push 2 defenders out of her way to get that bucket to go. Again, Canisius might be down big at this point, but certainly showing no signs of slowing down or giving it.
In the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, Jabril was in the top 25 in rebounding. Her and Gales formed quite the presence on the boards for Canisius. Burrows still looking to find her scoring. Darius has had no problem scoring. She's at 11 points. Moves around 2 defenders. Burrows from 3. And still isn't quite falling for the junior. Quickly goes the other way, does Wittenberg, and she gets all the way to the cup. You can tell that is Wittenberg's bread and butter, moving the ball into the paint, getting the easy layup.
And she just blew by Syracuse right there. Sophie Burrows had to go from almost one end to the other, from one elbow to the other, if you will, to try and get down to make that block.
Wittenberg putting on the burners and speeding right around Darius, and not enough Burrows could do. Dominique Darius now finds herself at the free throw line. There's Wittenberg. Canisius just did a full hockey line change. Any new faces on the floor for them now. Darius, as I mentioned, her collegiate career has mainly been on the West Coast with UCLA and USC. And for 5th year, she's going to be here at Syracuse, and already a player that Coach Jack and everyone is really excited about.
And it was fun to hear her talk about, you know, the process of coming over to Syracuse, the background that she has, family connections, and the fact that Coach Jack was so excited for the chance to coach her when she entered the transfer portal. Said they had a phone call between the two once she entered the transfer portal, and just that phone call and how excited Coach Jack was, and even watching some of Syracuse's previous games, and just how committed Coach Jack is to this program really sold her on Syracuse.
It's what sold a lot of players is Coach Jack's enthusiasm and commitment to the group that she has each and every year. Getting into the lane and hitting the deck hard was Randolph. Potts looks from three and is off. And then Sage Randolph collects it. Randolph is a walk-on on this team and a player that Coach Swafford loves, does all the little things. Blue person, if you want to put it that way, as Syracuse gets the turnover, and that excites the bench as they kind of bleed off of that enthusiasm that Coach Jack has for defense.
And Canisius is not a team that will press, but Syracuse is one that will, no matter the margin of their leader deficit.
Oh, nifty finish from Camden Nelson, the freshman, showing off her skill.
One of a couple of freshmen that have already gotten involved today for Syracuse, and again, really just putting the body on the line, not worrying about who's ever in front of you and going in just to try to finish at the cup.
Add that to the list of Canisius turnovers, and you can really see the depth that this Orange side has. Everyone seemingly scoring once they come onto the court.
And Coach Jack has made it clear that throughout this entire season, you're going to see potentially 10 to 15 players getting involved every single game, no matter what. It's not the same makeup the squad had a year ago when it had to rely on individuals at times. They have so many other options, and the depth has shown in the first couple of games.
Kimbawala working inside, can't find the basket. Gales hustles the other way for the Golden Griffins. To Wittenberg. He's enjoyed going to the paint. Gales has already hit 2 threes. Didn't get the third one to fall, but Canisius gets the offensive rebound. Back to Gales. That's where she likes to do her damage, in the paint, and she'll head to the free throw line.
She's been blocked a couple times prior down low on those shots. This time, makes no mistake about it. We make sure she get that pump fake. And then Kimbawala just comes down a little bit early to draw 2 shots for Gales. But look at the lineup of this Syracuse offense, or the Syracuse lineup for a moment, just before that foul was committed. 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores. So the youth movement really showing up and showing out for Syracuse.
Coach Jack told us she's not scared to play younger players, freshman, sophomore. That doesn't matter to her. As long as you are good enough, you are talented enough, you'll see the floor. There's a freshman, Nelson. Long feed to Potts. Thought about the 3, goes inside. Layup off the glass is no good. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the first half, a half that's been dominated by Syracuse, but Canisius has showed signs offensively, especially with Gales inside the paint. That's easy work for the junior, who's starting to take over offensively for the Golden Griffins.
And Syracuse has become a little more lackadaisical in the paint. There hasn't been as much of a defensive presence as there was to start this game.
Fitzgerald works inside. It's her own miss. Look to try it again. Goes inside. And Syracuse, they hadn't struggled much inside the paint, but recent trips have been a little tougher.
You do like the idea from Fitzgerald right there, though, not getting the first couple of tries to go, and then instead of just trying to throw it up again, seeing you have an option down low, and Kira Scott feeding the ball to her ultimately was posted up by another defender and couldn't get it to go. It still just shows that the Syracuse team is consistently thinking and not just trying to force the ball into the hoop every which way they can.
Nelson inbounds under the basket. Canisius player hits the deck. Hawkins can't get it to go. It's an empty trip for the Orange. Austin gets that one to slide in. And Canisius is putting together a nice little run to close out the half. Hawkins loses that momentarily, and we have a kick ball. I think it will stay with the Orange.
And SU just seems like it's a little bit off balance at the moment, or at least not in as much control as they were to start this contest. And I think Canisius is really doing a good job of making sure that they're really playing this quarter out. You know, it'd be easy to kind of lay down to go to the locker room, but that hasn't been the case going up for boards like that.
Austin with the ball, swings it all the way out to Clay. Jabril has had success from beyond the arc. Thought about the three there. Good ball movement from the Golden Griffins. It's gonna maybe end with a Clay three. It does. That Canisius bench, you heard them. They got something to cheer about with the way they're closing out this quarter, especially from beyond the arc, as they commit a foul, and Shai Hawkins will take a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, that Golden Griffins bench has been loud all game long. You've seen why, because they've had some opportunities to potentially cut this deficit and have done such that. But again, can't keep that momentum going. And a couple shots for Shai Hawkins.
The Orange have done a good job getting to the free throw line in this first half as Hawkins hits the first.
I think it's safe to say the Orange are just getting a little bit jumpy on defense as well. You saw it in the last possession with that three from Clay. Players jumping left and right when the ball got to them if their assignment was missed.
Press here from Syracuse. Kira Scott all over Franco Wittenberg. Austin looking to have the final shot, but Canisius isn't going to get it. It's a turnover. And Syracuse can try and draw up one more basket before this half closes out.
34, Shariah Gales, and number 5, Irene Gray, along with number 10, Chelsea Betts.
Will be Nelson to maybe close things out for the Orange. Doesn't get the basket to fall. And we go into the halftime locker room with Syracuse in control, 53-34. Plenty of scoring from the Orange. Those points and a half under Coach Jack. That is an impressive number, and it again shows how the diverse scoring there is for this team. Fans standing to start this third quarter, and Sophie Burrows tries a three, and if she can get one to fall, I think this crowd is really going to get loud. Still waiting to find her game this season is Burrows. She had just 4 points in the opening 2 games and still looking for a bucket here.
And I think this is a good time for Burrows to get adjusted. Syracuse hasn't played any Power 4 competition yet. This is your almost adjustment period before some of those bigger games coming up down the stretch.
Jabril muscles off Burrows, but can't get the layup, and Burrows gets that rebound.
But she also does stuff like that. She's still the team's leader in rebounds up to this point, so not necessarily putting her head down on offense and really picking it back up on defense.
SU comes up empty. Wittenberg now. She had a successful second quarter getting to the cup with layups. Jabril hit a three-pointer, opts to go inside. Great pass to Gales. That is what Canisius wants to do. And head coach Felicia Leggett-Jack is not happy. A quick timeout, and the Golden Griffins, they're starting to put together a few drives. They are ahead. They trail Syracuse, but ahead in this second half. Great pass there. Second half. See what they have drawn up out of the timeout. It starts with Dominique Darius, who is one of the points leaders for the Orange.
If you remember, the fourth quarter in that Albany game last time out was really the only time where Syracuse faltered. Up to that point, it only allowed Albany to score 18 points. But down that final stretch, that's when Felicia Leggett-Jack got a little bit frustrated, and you have to imagine that timeout was just a little bit of a reset for her squad to help them understand that, you can't cruise through the rest of this game. You have to bring that same intensity that they brought in that first half.
Burrows was fouled in the paint, not in the act, so it's just a inbounds under the basket. And a great one it is to Sophie Burrows, and that's the easiest two she may get all season. Wittenberg really knows how to get into that next gear. She did that really well in the first half. Fed inside. Burrows, bit of a mismatch there. Layup doesn't fall. It was Felice who came up short. Stays with Canisius. Pineda has a wide open three and drains it. The three ball worked for the Golden Griffins in that first half, and it's working here to start the third quarter.
Right, 5 for 8 in that first half, and Pineda, another open look, but Syracuse responds on the other side.
Izoje gets the N1 opportunity.
Foul is on number 15, Laila Phelia. Her second team foul. Number 21.
And that's props to Syracuse for working well in transition, even after a really tough three, which all of a sudden, cut the deficit back, really put Canisius back, not in this game, but in a way, cutting the deficit down. Syracuse still showing some fight and responding to that big Canisius bucket.
Gave the offense some life that they just didn't really have in that first quarter, mainly because of the turnovers. Wittenberg's been a spark for this team offensively. Trying to navigate her way into the paint. Swings it all the way out. Koppel will try her luck from three. Doesn't have the same result as Pineda did. Burrows got an easy layup. 2 baskets ago. Phelia loves to do it from there. Oh, what a pass from Phelia to Izoje. And Izoje continues to be a force right underneath the basket for SU. Gales going to work inside, and she will head to the free throw line. Soraya Gales is really, really crafty and successful when she gets in the paint, either getting the easy layup or going to this charity stripe.
And early on, she was getting blocked down low, trying to get some of those shots off. You could tell it was taking a toll on her because it was hard for her to muscle her way back down the court after Syracuse was working well in transition, but now really taking advantage of the physical figure that she has, bodying these Syracuse players and drawing some of these fouls.
Gales leading the scoring for Canisius with 14 points, now leading all scorers in the game, as a matter of fact, with 14. Against Eastern Michigan, she had 11 points, went 9 of 10 from the free throw line. If you're a player that gets to the line a lot, you gotta be good from the line, and she certainly is. Phelia working inside, gets her own miss momentarily. Wittenberg, a nice hustle play to retrieve that. Now Canisius can work on the offensive end.
That was a hustle-on-hustle play right there with Phelia and Wittenberg. It feels like those two have really brought the most intensity to the court on both sides.
Gales was looking inside. It stays with Canisius. A three from Wittenberg goes. And Canisius is really starting to work offensively. That wasn't a three, excuse me. It was just a two-pointer. But the Golden Griffins are really starting to put together some good offensive possessions. Darius committing the offensive foul. And it really isn't happening so far to start this quarter for Syracuse.
Right, and you can tell maybe some frustration is building up on the sideline, on the bench, and even the players on the court. Felicia Jack just looks kind of perplexed right now at how well the Golden Griffins have come out of this halftime break. It would have been so easy after such a dominant half for Syracuse to just kind of do what they continue to do. But there's Syracuse doing what they've done best all game, which is taking advantage of turnovers.
Nelson tries the three, doesn't fall. Darius somehow comes up with the board, and there's a tie-up underneath the basket. What hustle there from Dominique Darius. She was outnumbered underneath the basket and still came away with it. This is is the Canisius side, Max, that we've mentioned, coming off the back of 2 back-to-back blowout defeats by Michigan and Eastern Michigan. They're putting together a good performance here in the Dome.
Look, Coach Swafford has made it clear that, they're not playing at their best right now, but it's all about those little stretches like we saw moments ago. Where can you take steps of improvement? Are you trying to improve even when your backs are against the wall?
A blocking foul on Laila Phelia.
Coach Jack really fired up on the sideline right now, just knowing that those mistakes shouldn't happen. And she's very big on this team's discipline, and she'll be the first one to call out her players on if they're not being disciplined enough.
Plenty of subs happening for both sides. Clay retrieves the inbounds pass, defended by Nelson. Strong defense from the freshman on Clay. Clay still with it. It's a possession that's belonged to her. Moves inside, and Sophie Burrows gets up there, but there's a whistle before the ball is blocked. And it was an offensive foul for the Golden Griffins, and Sophie Burrows inbounds it, and Syracuse can work the other way. It was a travel by Canisius. Had a few of those in the first half as well. Burrows looking to score. Just can't get it fall. She's had a few of those tonight, Max, where it looks like it's going to go in, but just doesn't for her.
And credit to her for understanding that, maybe her shot isn't quite there right now as far as beyond the arc was, like it was at this point a season ago. So she understands that she needs to get those points down low, and she's tall enough that she can.
An easy layup inside for Felice. Burrows is 2 of 5 from the field so far. Phelia so crafty inside the paint. How about those moves? She gets fouled. Phelia can really navigate in the paint. Syracuse still ahead of Canisius midway through this third quarter, 62-45. We'll be back after this. For her all game. It's caused a bit of a headache to start this third quarter, as Laila Phelia will be at the free throw line for 2 shots. She makes them, she'll be get on 15 points. That'll be level with Dominique Darius and Soraya Gills for leading point getters, if you're keeping track.
And Coach Jack's biggest qualm a game ago was that Syracuse didn't finish. The fourth quarter, not quite the standard that she expected her squad to play up to. And I think you're seeing a little bit of that leak into the third right now. You'd imagine that she'll have her squad fired up for the fourth coming up, especially after what happened a game ago.
Team certainly didn't start the third quarter to her liking, because she burned a timeout almost immediately. Muskell moving her way inside. Jabril looking to have success in the paint. Felice, she's also been really successful under the basket, and she'll head to the free throw line for 2. Starts with strong ball movement, and Jabril, she's really crafty with finding the pass.
Right, and how about Felice? Didn't have any points in that first half and has really been a force in that paint for Canisius to start this second half. Already a couple points for her, and maybe potentially more with some free throws.
Fight back. We got one lady. One. Fight back.
Felice is another one of the players that head coach Swafford is hoping becomes a dominant paint presence, kind of joining Gales and Jabril as that force underneath the basket. It's no secret that is how Coach Swafford, you see her right there, that's how she wants to play, getting the ball inside. And I think it's probably been a welcome surprise to her that this team has been successful from beyond the arc as well.
And just like Coach Jack really harped on defense, one of the biggest priorities for Coach Swafford and her squad was rebounding.
Well, rebound there for Jasmine Cooper. She gets the easy deuce. Ball moves inside, and easy baskets on both ends for both sides. Van der Woude with the easy 2, and both teams trading buckets. Syracuse will be okay with that. Canisius, they need stops, is coming up on 3 minutes in this third quarter. Ball's blocked away and will stay with Syracuse.
And these are shots right now that Syracuse wasn't really taking in the first half. Right now have a tendency to just kind of chuck the ball up toward the hoop when they're driving down the lane. When in the first half, they took advantage of a lot of Canisius mistakes and were either getting fouled or they normally had an open lane or an open player.
Phelia working her way inside, loves to do those spin moves. That's kind of her signature, doing a quick spin when she gets in the paint, and it works. And then she does it on the defensive end. It'll be Syracuse ball, and that's something that Coach Jack and that SU bench will love. Phelia rather, can not only score, but also play some great hustle defense.
Yeah, that's this thing that they don't show you on the stat sheet right there, is those spin move shots, and then hustling back on defense to make that hustle play to give Syracuse the ball right back.
Journey Thompson in for the Orange. Gets it here. Thompson traveled, and we've seen a few travels today.
It's been a tendency for both teams to kind of take those extra steps to see if they can physical their way past these defenders to get into the paint to score the buckets. And unfortunately, that hasn't worked to the avail as many times in the second half.
Gale's great pass, and it's fumbled away though. And it will be Syracuse ball. Jasmine Cooper will inbound it. Move to Nelson. We get to see Angelica Velez at point guard, just Camden Nelson, the freshman. Here's Phelia once more, pull-up jumper, doesn't fall. Canisius comes away with it. And it's stolen away. There is Velez right on cue. And that is why Angelica Velez gets the hard hat after the game against UAlbany. It's for those kind of hustle plays like that.
Yeah, Felicia really get Jack was smiling on the sideline. Velez was out by the right point, almost kind of slithered her way into the lane a little sneakily to come knock that ball out of bounds. And even though Syracuse doesn't have the ball, still get hustle play, and Syracuse now utilizing its press, something that Canisius has not fought today against well. Seen already a couple backcourt violations.
Canisius doing their merry-go-round of substitutions. It's a constantly rotating bench of who's coming off and who's coming on. They work the ball up nicely to Wittenberg. She spins it out wide. And then Gale's wide open underneath the basket. Doesn't get it to go. Wittenberg gets the rebound out of bounds. It will remain with the Golden Griffins.
And that doesn't show the intensity of the Golden Griffins in the second half. I don't know what does. Syracuse had 2 or 3 defenders down there pretty much that entire possession. And it was always 1-on-2 or 1-on-3. And both times, Canisius came up with the offensive board. Results in a couple more shots from the charity stripe.
Wittenberg at the free throw line. He's had a strong game so far. Out of Germany is Wittenberg. Last season she had a career best in field goals, 3-point percentage, points, and assists. Really took a leap and is now seen as one of the leaders on this Golden Griffins side. Izoje checks back in for the Orange, so too does sophomore Shai Hawkins. And it is now Angelica Velez controlling the point guard duties for Coach Jack's team. Phelia remains on the floor. The lone starter out there, rather her and Izoje are out there. Izoje was trying to get that one in the paint underneath the basket. There's a whistle. Next game for this Syracuse women's basketball team is going to be against Wagner on Sunday. Coach Jack always emphasizing the non-conference schedule as a chance to really get right and get ready for a tough ACC.
You said it right. Syracuse will have a tough Thanksgiving break going off to Connecticut. And that's right before the SEC ACC challenge, which is always, you know, no pun intended, been a challenge for no matter who the squad is involved.
Yeah, the Syracuse will take on Auburn this time around in that challenge. Coming up on 2 minutes left in this third quarter. AJ Myers, Max Gifford taking you through this one. Another whistle. There's been plenty of whistles in this second half. And there is a Canisius timeout with just a little less than 2 minutes left.
Defense, and you can expect those to be a consistent trend in each episode of Game Changers. A great listen. Coach Jack, always a great, just a conversationalist in general. We were lucky to talk to her, and her conversations with Sean have been really a fun listen.
Players love playing for it's clear, and she just always has that energy and will to win. Gales has been willing her way in the paint, doesn't get it to go there. Izoje is definitely more of a threat. Syracuse trying to move quickly with Hawkins. Feeds it out wide. Phelia, not much of a three-point shooter, likes to move inside the arc. Syracuse has it. Hawkins trying it, losing her shot momentarily, and that's why she didn't get a clean look. Canisius definitely hold itself high on the defensive stops it's drawn in this third quarter. Looking to move inside, it's a turnover. Hasn't been as big of an issue for the Golden Griffins. Quick play from the Orange, great bounce pass. Shy Hawkins, though, loses it. And yet another travel. That is really piling up here for Syracuse in this third quarter.
Yeah, you're seeing similar passes that you did in that first half for Syracuse. Some of those give and go down the lane. But the Orange have had not as easy of a time handling the basketball. And as a result, in the process of actually trying to corral it, they take a couple extra steps. That's resulted in a couple extra travels. One that head coach Laila Jack, you can see, is frustrated about.
25 turnovers for Canisius, and they got their number down the first game against Michigan. They committed 45, just 21 against Eastern Michigan. So obviously they want to keep that number under 20, and they've gotten it back up. But even for Syracuse, 10 turnovers, I don't think that's something Coach Jack's going to be particularly happy about. Down low with Wittenberg, and a nifty layup for the German. She's again had a strong quarter after she really led the way in the second quarter for the Golden Griffins.
And Tiffany Swafford talked to us and said that, maybe they didn't talk as much about Syracuse in their practices because really they just want to play their game. And I think you're seeing the Canisius brand of basketball really on full display in the second half.
It starts with Wittenberg and what she can do at point guard. Moved inside of Feliz, and then she's swarmed by two Orange defenders, still gets it to fall. Great work from the sophomore to get the easy layup, and she's really asserted herself in the paint in this third quarter.
Yeah, Feliz almost put that basketball into the chest of Journey Thompson, ended up still getting it out, moving through another defender to put it in for a last-second shot.
Delia, before the end of the quarter, doesn't get it to fall, puts up another chance. That doesn't go. Izoje does get it right at the horn, and Syracuse will go into the fourth quarter up piece. And if she stays on the bench, she'll be that nice general off the bench for Syracuse.
And you can tell she's taking a step forward leadership-wise this season for the Orange as well.
Darius nearly got all the way to the hoop there and got it to go, but comes up short. And I think it was interesting, Max, Canisius has outscored Syracuse in 2 quarters.
And it was the best first quarter Laila Jack has ever had in her first couple of years as the head coach of Syracuse. I mean, you're right, the Golden Griffins, they came to play in the second and third. It would have been so easy for them to just kind of lay down, let Syracuse walk out of this, and making sure that you just walk out not injured. But they've still put up a pretty big fight, and the Orange have definitely been tested.
Last season, the Golden Griffins only had 1% of their scoring coming back from the previous year, and they were picked to finish last in their conference, but they made it all the way to their conference title game, only to come up short. So it kind of shows the mentality that Coach Swafford has and instills in her players. There certainly is no quit.
And again, Canisius has tested itself early on. Had a game against a very tough Michigan opponent that is one of the best in the entire nation. Playing Syracuse now, Eastern Michigan sandwiched in between those. Maybe one she would have liked to see her team be a little better in, but you're playing good competition to set you up for success ultimately in conference play. Those are the ones that matter the most.
They've had 2 strong quarters here inside the JMA Wireless Dome. Darius has been a leading points getter for the Orange, but another travel, and my oh my, I mean the travels are really racking up for Syracuse.
I think Syracuse almost just thinking 1, 2, even 3 steps ahead, like they were in that first, thinking of, okay, where's that next pass? Where's the next shot going to go? Instead of realizing where their feet are in the very second, it's caused them to take a couple extra and resulting in a couple more travels.
Jabril throws a fastball right at Gales, and no problem there, and she is hyped for that bucket. An and one opportunity from arguably Canisius' 2 biggest forces inside the paint.
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly. A little fastball pass, and then how about a little bit of a change-up of a trickle-in of a basket. And you can tell Gale's absolutely hyped up after that basket as well. Her and Jabril having some fun these past 3 quarters. It's been fun to see this Golden Griffins team and how they've really rallied down the stretch.
And even with the tough start that Canisius has had in the first 2 games, Coach Swafford told us she told the team about their women's soccer program that started the season really poorly. They started 0-4. They made it all the way to their conference title game. They came up short, lost on penalty kicks, but it was really just a message of it's still so early in the season. And even last year, they didn't focus on wins and losses until around February. Phelia hasn't had it going from 3. Just about everywhere else she has, though. She moves inside and will go to the free throw line. Crafty work once again from Phelia.
Again, you see it right there, just having to weave through 1, 2, 3 defenders. Drawing the contact and get the shots to go. These are important shots for Syracuse to make. Canisius has some players in some foul trouble. And if they continue to be physical with the Orange, you want players like Phelia going up to the line.
Phelia has knocked down all 4 of her free throws today. She's up to 19 points. Wittenberg can't get it to go there. Saved momentarily for Canisius. Back inside with Gales. And Wittenberg from 3. Jumper from Austin doesn't fall. And Sophie Burrows will run the other way. Phelia just knocked down those free throws. Moves it inside to Darius. Oh, nifty pass. Oh, great ball movement from Coach Jack's team. And it's finished off by Journey Thompson.
Syracuse starting to get back in a little bit of a rhythm offensively. Haven't really seen it as much compared to the first quarter where it seemed like every possession it was the same old, same old.
Wittenberg swings it out to Austin. Back with Koppel. Wittenberg sneaks inside, player hits the deck. Gales, right before the shot clock expires, it goes in and out. Koppel is wide open from 3 momentarily, but Burrows is there. Back with Austin. Gales hits the deck now. Again, the shot clock is rolling down. Great defense here from the Orange. Gales will go back to the free throw line, and she is really putting a force in this second half for Canisius.
And she's learned how to be a real force in that paint. Wasn't always that way at the start, but now really drawing a lot of these Syracuse players off balance and allowing herself to get to the line with a couple more foul shots. Again, even if it's as simple as that little pump fake to get the defender to come down, she's done that better than any player today.
Gales, as I mentioned earlier, if you're a player that's going to get to the line a lot, you got to hit him, you got to knock him down, and she's done that.
Again, we talked about Gales off the top in this broadcast. And she's shown why, because she can do it from all the way around, whether it's down below in the paint, beyond the arc, even at the free throw line, a very 3-layered shooter.
Darius was hoping for the and one. You probably heard it. Doesn't get it, but still goes to the free throw line. Syracuse has enjoyed getting inside for these layups all game long. Contact there.
It feels like we haven't seen Darius as much in the second, third, and fourth quarter drive to the lane as much and get some of these easy finishes. She prides herself on her defense. So she's really made a dent on that end of the court, but haven't really seen as much offense in this second half.
Darius also has plenty of postseason experience when she was with UCLA. That's something that I'm sure Coach Jack will appreciate. Her 5th year of eligibility, choosing to do it with Syracuse, and they are happy that she picked Orange. Gales hasn't tried a three-pointer since she's knocked a few down in the first half. Good pass from Austin. Layup doesn't fall though. Journey Thompson with the board, and it's back with Darius. Oh, moves right around Gales. That is so smooth from Darius. And she's starting to regain that first half form here in the 4th quarter.
Right, she must have heard me just seconds ago. She says, all right, let me get back in the groove. Let me drive to the cup and get another easy bucket.
Three-pointer from Austin. Doesn't quite fall, but guess who? Gales is right there in the paint with the layup. That is how Canisius wants to play basketball.
I'll tell you what, Coach Swafford would have had, a problem if there had been anything else but a basket on that possession. One of her players from beyond the arc got hacked pretty hard, but Gales down below once again, making her presence felt.
Phelia works inside. Layup goes, count it, and the foul. And Laila Phelia will head to the stripe. She's up to 21 points, seeking 22 and getting the nice contact and the bucket there.
It's that spot-up jumper for Phelia. It seems like it's been that same spot. I feel like you could put an X right there. X marks the spot, and it feels like that's been Laila Phelia's spot all day. I feel like almost half her points have come from that spot.
Last time Phelia had 20 points in a game, it was back on March 9th, 2024, versus Iowa, who had this player named Caitlin Clark.
I've heard she's all right.
She's made a career for herself in the WNBA. Wittenberg circling around, trying to get around Journey Thompson, can't. And it's a turnover for Canisius. That has been limited in this second half, but Darius, putting it in overdrive. Can't get it to fall though. Sophie Burrows is there, wide open from 3. Doesn't quite go for Cooper.
At halftime, Drew Albaugh was talking about how Canisius really needed to limit those turnovers, and you've seen that at least a sizable margin better than that first half. I mean, after that first quarter, Canisius had more turnovers than it had points. But Syracuse on the other side, Drew was talking about having these shots fall a little more like the snow. Hasn't quite been that way.
Burrows trying to get a 3 to go, and finally she does. That is a welcome sight for Syracuse. Sophie Burrows connecting from beyond the arc. Last year she shot 30% from 3. Now she's on the deck, and it's a throwaway. And there's Sophie Burrows in a nutshell, and Coach Jack is fired up. She loves that hustle play, and she'll love
as many of those shots to fall in the second half. And Burrows with one from beyond the arc, one that was much needed at that. And you wonder if it maybe sparks Burrows to get into a little bit of a rhythm like she did last season.
Darius is past her career high now. It was at 20, and now she's up to 21. It's been a great performance from the newcomer, Dominique Darius. Canisius hoping for a few more bright spots here in this second half, and a game that maybe the scoreline won't look like they played well, but they've certainly their best game of the season. Late in the shot clock they are here with Jabril. Back to Wittenberg, good ball movement. 3-pointer doesn't fall though. Getting her own rebound is Meskel, and then a big block from Izoje, and that is how head coach Tiffany Swafford wants her team to play, fast and with that ball movement.
Right, and you take away the first quarter in this one, Canisius really has played a good game of basketball. Turnovers have been limited ever since. It was a huge problem. I mean, I feel like you counted 6 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of this ball game. They've really settled in, have played their brand of basketball, and that's fast. That's getting their own rebounds, and it's hitting the shots when they get the opportunities to.
Gales trying to get to work, finds her other paint partner in Jabril, and a foul. And it'll be free throws for Grenada.
Again, you talk about depth for Syracuse, but on the Golden Griffin side, it seems pretty similar. We mentioned those consistent changes for Coach Swafford. Pineda's been one of the most prominent players off the bench. She's just done a great job of, again, being a little bit of a firecracker for this team off the bench.
Doesn't get the first free throw to fall. Camden Nelson at the controls for Syracuse, the freshman, playing the point guard. Looks inside, ball is momentarily tapped away. Now it's with Hawkins. Kira Scott gets the quick 2 away and drains it. It's Kira Scott, talking about depth, just another great option for Coach Jack to have off the bench.
Right, and Kira Scott was a really suitable option for Syracuse a season ago. It'll be fun to see how she builds on a successful freshman year.
More strong ball movement. Good pass from Wittenberg into Gales, and surrounded by 4 Orange defenders. She still gets a shot away, doesn't get it to fall. Ball is zipping around for the Golden Griffins. Brill doesn't get it to go. Gales hits the deck. Syracuse is moving the other way. Hawkins, great pass. Izoje gets the layup to go. And Syracuse is continuing that commanding lead here in the fourth quarter. Some good play after what was a difficult third quarter, I think, for the team and Coach Jack.
Right, and I think the Orange have really started to get back in a rhythm toward the end of this fourth quarter. Back to playing what works for them best. Defense has looked a lot better.
3 ball from Mesco goes, and Canisius has shot the 3 really well tonight. It's something they didn't do particularly well last season, and they've done it pretty good tonight as Philly blows the whistle.
And I think I need to stop talking as well. I mean, it was just complimenting Syracuse's defense. Canisius hits a shot. It was dissing on Syracuse's shooting. Sylvie Burrows hits a 3. I guess maybe it's good if I talk.
I mean, I don't want you to stop
inspiring
talking,
these other
Max.
sidelines.
Substitutions for Canisius. A few Canisius fans behind their bench making the trip from the Buffalo area. Maddie Potts just coming into the game, first time in the second half. Hawkins working right under the basket. That would have been a difficult one if she got it to go. She'll have a chance to get some easier ones at the free throw line.
It's been a pretty physical game overall tonight in the Dome on both sides. Both sides on defense, not afraid to put the bodies up in the paint, and on both offensive ends, players not afraid to plow through these defenders either.
Hawkins showed plenty of bright spots her freshman year, and now is going to be fighting along with a lot of players on this team to get in that rotation here for her sophomore year. Comes up short on the second free throw. Less than 2 minutes to go here in this one from the Dome. It's been a fun one between Syracuse and Canisius. You can really see the emphasis on the ball movement for this Golden Griffin side. A turnover, good defense by Shai Hawkins, then she gets fouled, and it was Shades Randolph with the foul, and good sporting from her helping up Hawkins. It's 28 turnovers for the Golden Griffins. It's better than the 45 they had against Michigan. It's still not great.
Right, but give a lot of credit to the Golden Griffins. And I think that the results, like you mentioned, may not be good on paper. But Coach Swafford has talked to us and has said that if her team can just make those subtle improvements each game, and they aren't consistently making those same mistakes that maybe they do make at the start of the game, like was evident today with 13 turnovers in that first quarter, have kind of cleaned it up since then over the past 3. And again, her team has really gutted it out, outscoring Syracuse in the second and third quarter. And it was really that first quarter that was ultimately, what kind of wrote this one off for Syracuse.
It's a bit of a tie-up after that free throw. Canisius gets possession. Anthony Gostin to walk it up the floor for the Golden Griffins. Pineda's hit 1-3 earlier. Goes for the 2 there, and a crafty layup falls. Next up for the Golden Griffins is St. Bonaventure's Friday at 6. Games are in quick accession for Coach Swafford's team. Izoje gets the easy deuce, and for Syracuse, next up is Wagner Sunday at 2 right here in the JMA Wireless Dome. The Orange will improve to 3-0 on the season, and Canisius will fall to 0-3.
Again, that Wagner game on Sunday, the last one against a non-Power 4 team for the rest of the season before a Thanksgiving tournament, the SEC ACC Challenge, and then getting into the thick of conference play in the ACC, which is always such a tough basketball conference. But a confidence booster for Syracuse nonetheless. Mentioned after the Stony Brook and New Albany games, 2 dominant victories, this one no different.
Something they'll hope to carry over in ACC play. Max, you mentioned it. ACC will be no easier than it has been in the previous 3 seasons under Coach Jack. Always such a tough conference for Syracuse to compete in. But they've shown plenty of great signs. These new players that have joined the ranks for the Orange have really shown that they belong on this team, and could be a successful year for Coach Jack and the Orange. Another whistle. And it's a foul on Syracuse. Try Hawkins committing the offense.
For 22, Franco Wittenberg set to come in.
Pineda at the line. Free throws go for Pineda, and puts her up to 11 points on the evening.
And again, she's primarily come off the bench in this one, so it's impressive that she has been such a force off the bench, despite maybe not having the biggest size, getting those shots off at the free throw line and also taking those shots from beyond the arc. But ultimately, Syracuse just going to dribble this one out.
And then she follows up a good performance against Eastern Michigan when she had 12 points with 11. And that'll do it from the JMA Wireless Dome. Getting a nice reception is Syracuse from their home crowd. They take this one 96-72, both head coaches embracing.